Hello, family. God bless you all. Hope you're in the best of health. We left off at chapter 11 in the book of Jubilees. Like I say, these are some really good times for us as our Father, the Most High, cleans the land of our enemies as we see it day by day. Chapter 11. In the 35th Jubilee, in the third week, in the first year of it, Reu took to himself a wife, and her name was Orah, the daughter of Ur, the son of Chesed. And she gave birth to a son, and he called his name Seroh, Seroh, in the seventh year of this week, in this Jubilee. The sons of Noah began to war with each other, to take captives and kill each other, and to shed the blood of men on the earth, and to eat blood, and to build strong cities, and walls, and towers. And individuals began to exalt themselves above the nation, and to establish kingdoms, and to go to war, people against people, and nation against nation, and city against city. And all began to do evil, and to acquire arms, and to teach their sons war. And they began to capture cities, and to sell male and female slaves. Ur, the son of Chesed, built the city of Ara of the Chaldees, and called its name after his own name and the name of his father. And they made themselves molten images, and they worshipped the idols and the molten image they had made for themselves. And they began to make graven images and unclean and shadowy presence. And male violent and malicious spirits assisted and seduced them into committing transgression and uncleanness. Prince Mastema exerted himself to do all this, and he sent out other spirits, which were put under his control, to do all manner of wrong and sin, and all manner of transgression, to corrupt and destroy, and to shed blood on the earth. For this reason, he called the name of Sirach Serug, for everyone turned to do all manner of sin and transgression. He grew up and dwelt in Ur of the Chaldeans, near to the father of his wife's mother. And he worshipped idols, and he took to himself a wife in the 36th Jubilee, in the 5th week, in the first year of it. And her name was Melka, the daughter of Cabir, the daughter of his father's brother. She gave birth to Nahor in the first year of this week. And he grew and dwelt in Ur of the Chaldeans, and his father taught him the sciences of the Chaldeans, to divine and to conjure, according to the signs of heaven. In the 37th Jubilee, in the 6th week, in the first year of it, he took to himself a wife, and her name was Ijaska, the daughter of Nestag of the Chaldees. And she gave birth to Terah in the 7th year of this week. Prince Mastema sent ravens and birds to devour the seed that was sown in the land, in order to destroy the land and rob the children of men of their labors. Before they could plow in the seed, the ravens picked it from the surface of the ground. This is why he called his name Terah, because the ravens and the birds reduced them to destitution and devoured their seed. The years began to be barren because of the birds, and they devoured all the fruit of the trees from the trees. It was only with great effort that they could harvest a little fruit from the earth in their days. In this 39th Jubilee, in the second week, in the first year, Terah took to himself a wife, and her name was Edna, the daughter of Abram, the daughter of his father's sister. In the 7th year of this week, she gave birth to a son, and he called his name Abram, by the name of the father of his mother. For he had died before his daughter had conceived a son. And the child began to understand the errors of the earth, that all went astray after graven images and after uncleanness. And his father taught him writing, and he was 2 weeks of years old, so that would be 14, and he separated himself from his father, that he might not worship idols with him. He began to pray to the Creator of all things, that he might spare him from the errors of the children of men, and that his portion should not fall into error after uncleanness and vileness. The time came for the sowing of seed in the land, and they all went out together to protect their seed against the ravens. And Abram went out with those that went. And the child was a lad of 14 years. A cloud of ravens came to devour the seed, and Abram ran to meet them before they settled on the ground, and cried to them before they settled on the ground to devour the seed, and said, "Descend not, return to the place from where you came." And they began to turn back. And he caused the clouds of ravens to turn back that day 70 times. And of all the ravens throughout all the land where Abram was, there settled not so much as one. All who were with him throughout all the land saw him cry out, and all the ravens turned back, and his name became great in all the land of the Chaldees. There came to him this year all those that wished to sow, and he went with them until the time of sowing ceased, and they sold their land. And that year they brought enough grain home to eat, and they were satisfied. In the first year of the 5th week, Abraham taught those who made implements for oxen, the artificers in wood, and they made a vessel above the ground, facing the frame of the plow, in order to put the seed in it, and the seed fell down from it on the share of the plow, and was hidden in the earth, and they no longer feared the ravens. After this manner they made vessels above the ground on all the frames of the plows, and they sowed and tilled all the land, according as Abram commanded them, and they no longer feared the birds. Chapter 12. In the 6th week, in the 7th year of it, that Abram said to Terah his father, saying, "Father," he said, "Look, here am I, my son." He said, "What help and profit have we from those idols which you worship?" and in the presence of which you bow yourself. For there is no spirit in them. They are dumb forms, and they misled the heart. Do not worship them. Worship the God of heaven, who causes the rain and the dew to fall on the earth, and does everything on the earth, and has created everything by his word, and all life is from his presence. Why do you worship things that have no spirit in them? Like that, Jesus Christ. For they are the work of men's hands and paintings, and you bear them on your shoulders, and you have no help from them. But they are a great cause of shame to those who make them, and they misled the heart of those who worship them. Do not worship them. His father said to him, I also know it, my son, but what shall I do with the people who have made me serve them? If I tell them the truth, they will kill me, because their soul clings to them, so they worship them and honor them. Keep silent, my son, or they will kill you. And these words he spoke to his two brothers, and they were angry with him, and he kept silent. In the 40th Jubilee, in the second week, in the 7th year of it, Abraham took to himself a wife, and her name was Sarai, the daughter of his father, and she became his wife. Haran, his brother, took to himself a wife in the 3rd year of the 3rd week, and she gave birth to a son in the 7th year of this week, and he called his name Lot. Nahor, his brother, took to himself a wife in the 60th year of the life of Abram, that is, in the 4th week, in the 4th year of it, Abram rose in the night and burned the house of the idols, and he burned all that was in the house, and no man knew it. And they arose and sought to save their gods from the fire. Haran hasted to save them, but the fire flamed over him, and he was burnt in the fire and died in Ur of the Chaldees before Terah his father. And they buried him in Ur of the Chaldees. Terah went out of Ur of the Chaldees, he and his sons, to go into the land of Lebanon and into the land of Canaan. And he dwelt in the land of Haran, and Abram dwelt with Terah his father in Haran 2 weeks of years. It's 14 years again. In the 6th week, in the 5th year of it, Abram sat up all night on the new moon of the 7th month to observe the stars from the evening to the morning, in order to see what would be the character of the year with regard to the rains. And he was alone as he sat and observed. And a word came into his heart, and he said, all the signs of the stars and the signs of the moon and of the sun are all in the hand of the Lord. Why do I search them out? If he desires, he causes it to rain, morning and evening. And if he desires, he withholds it, and all things are in his hand. He prayed in the night and said, my God, God Most High, you alone are my God, and you and your dominion have I chosen, and you have created all things, and all things that are the work of your hands. Deliver me from the hands of evil spirits who have dominion over the thoughts of men's hearts. And let them not lead me astray from you, my God. And establish me and my offspring forever, so that we do not go astray from now and forever. Our grandfather. He said, shall I return to Ur of the Chaldees, who are trying to find me? Should I return to them? Am I to remain here in this place? The right path is before you. Make it prosper in the hands of your servant, that he may fulfill it, and that I may not walk in the deceitfulness of my heart, O my God. He stopped speaking and stopped praying. And then the word of the Lord was sent to him through me, saying, get out of your country and from your kindred and from the house of your father, and go to a land which I will show you, and shall make you a great and numerous nation. And I will bless you, and I will make your name great, and you will be blessed in the earth, and in you shall all families of the earth be blessed. And I will bless them that bless you, and curse them that curse you. I will be a God to you and your son, and to your son's son, and to all your offspring. Fear not, for now on and to all generations of the earth, I am your God. The Lord God said, open his mouth and his ears, that he may hear and speak with his mouth, with the language which has been revealed. For it has ceased from the mouths of all the children of men from the day of the overthrow of Babel. And I opened his mouth and his ears and his lips, and I began to speak with him in Hebrew, in the tongue of the creation. Our language. He took the books of his fathers, and these were written in Hebrew, and he transcribed them, and he began from then on to study them. And I made known to him that which he could not understand. And he studied them during the 6 rainy months. In the 7th year of the 6th week, he spoke to his father and informed him that he would leave Haran to go into the land of Canaan, to see it and return to him. Terah, his father, said to him, go in peace. May the eternal God make your path straight. And the Lord be with you and protect you from all evil, and grant to you grace, mercy, and favor before those who see you. And may none of the children of men have power over you to harm you. Go in peace. If you see a land pleasant to your eyes to dwell in, then arise and take me with you, and take Lot with you, the son of Haran, your brother, as your own son. The Lord be with you. Nahor, your brother, leave with me until you return in peace, and we go with you all together. Chapter 13. Abram journeyed from Haran, and he took Sarai, his wife, and Lot, his brother, Haran's son, and they went to the land of Canaan. And he came into Asher and proceeded to Shechem and dwelt near a tall oak. He saw the land was very pleasant from the border of Hamath to the tall oak. The Lord said to him, to you and to your offspring I will give this land, the land we're in today. He built an altar there, and he offered on it a burnt sacrifice to the Lord, who had appeared to him. He left from that place and went to the mountain Bethel on the west, and Ai on the east, and pitched his tent there. He saw the land was very wide and good, and everything grew on it, vines and figs and pomegranates, oaks and ilexes and turpentine and all trees and cedars and cypresses and date trees and all trees of the field. And there was water on the mountains, the trees of this land, family. And he blessed the Lord who had led him out of Ur of the Chaldeans and had brought him to this land. In the first year, in the 7th week, on the new moon of the first month, he built an altar on this mountain and called on the name of the Lord and said, "You, the eternal God, are my God." He offered on the altar a burnt sacrifice to the Lord, that he should be with him and not forsake him all the days of his life. He left that place and went toward the south, and he came to Hebron, and Hebron was built at that time. And he lived there 2 years, and he went from that place into the land of the south, to Bealoth. And there was a famine in the land. Abram went into Egypt in the 3rd year of the week, and he dwelt in Egypt 5 years before his wife was torn away from him. Now, Tanias, forgive me, family, Tanias, Tanais. Now, Tanias in Egypt was built 7 years after Hebron. When Pharaoh seized Sarai, the wife of Abraham, the Lord plagued Pharaoh and his house with great plagues because of Sarai, Abram's wife. Abram was celebrated and admired because of his great possessions of sheep and cattle and donkeys and horses and camels and men servants and maid servants and in silver and gold. Lot and his brother's son were also wealthy. Pharaoh gave back Sarai, the wife of Abram, and he sent him out of the land of Egypt. And he journeyed to the place where he had pitched his tent at the beginning, to the place of the altar, with Ai on the east and Bethel on the west. And he blessed the Lord his God, who had brought him back in peace. In the 41st Jubilee, in the 3rd year of the 1st week, that he returned to this place and offered it a burnt sacrifice and called on the name of the Lord and said, "You, the Most High God, are my God forever and ever." In the 4th year of this week, Lot parted from him, and Lot lived in Sodom, and the men of Sodom sinned greatly. It grieved him in his heart that his brother's son had parted from him because Abram had no children. After Lot had parted from him, in the 4th year of this week, in that year when Lot was taken captive, the Lord said to Abram, "Lift up your eyes from the place where you are dwelling, northward and southward, and westward and eastward. All the land that you see I will give to you and to your offspring forever. And I will make your offspring as the sand of the sea. Though a man may number the dust of the earth, yet your offspring shall not be numbered. Arise, walk through the land in the length of it and the breadth of it, and see it all. To your offspring will I give it. And Abram went to Hebron and lived there. And in this year came Chedorlaomer, king of Elam, Chedorlaomer, king of Elam, and Amraphel, king of Shinar, and Arioch, 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 king of Selasar, and Turgal, king of nations, and killed the king of Gomorrah. And the king of Sodom fled, and many fled through wounds in the valley of Siddim by the Salt Sea. They took captive Sodom and Adam and Zeboim. And they took Lot captive, the son of Abram's brother, and all his possessions, and they went to Dan. One who had escaped came and told Abram that his brother's son had been taken captive. And Abram equipped his household servants for Abram and for his offspring, 1/10 of the first fruits to the Lord. And the Lord ordained it as a law forever that they should give it to the priest who served before him, that they should possess it forever. There is no limit of days to this law, for he has ordained it for the generations forever, that they should give to the Lord the 10th of everything, of the seed and of the wine and of the oil and of the cattle and of the sheep. He gave it to his priests to eat and to drink with joy before him. The king of Sodom came and bowed down to him and said, Our Lord Abram, give to us the souls which you have rescued, but let the booty be yours. And Abram said to him, I lift up my hands to the Most High God, that from a thread to a shoe latchet I shall not take anything that is yours, so that you can never say, I have made Abram rich, except only what the young men, Aner and Eshcol and Mamre, have eaten, and the portion of the men who went with me, these shall take their portions. Thank you for listening, family. Hope you're enjoying the story of our family. God bless you all.